Today we're gonna just quickly talk about how I made this scabbard. The design originally comes from a website called Shapeways, and it's this person right here somewhere, Ken Landrum. He's the one who put this up, and I guess just from like the picture and that one measurement is how I was able to just get the idea to make this. So it is made out of wood. The two main pieces I got from, I guess it was binders. I use this board, 1/4 inch thickness, to make everything except for the sheets. So all this stuff right here, that's made using this width board, and then using the one that's actually 3/16 inch wide, I made the sheets for the sword, and those are 24 inches long. So that means that it's 24 inches long, and then 3/16 inches wide, and as you can see, it's going to be 3 pieces kind of working like this right here, where I have one piece, and then actually, like, you can see a sketch out here. So what I would do is, like, I would cut out the board and then have 1, 2 on the inside, and that would make like the little, I guess, and the stuff in between is where the sword is going to go, and you put another one on top. So again, right, looking at the picture and some other pictures online, what I did is I made these sketches, and these are all going to be on a Dropbox folder. I guess I can put that in the description. So what we start off with is this design on the bottom. So actually I'm just gonna grab it right here. So this is like this bottom piece right here. You can see it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 layers. So this bottom one and is going to be our brace, and actually these magnets are misleading. This is going to go inside of a foam piece that looks exactly like this, that you're going to just slip inside your costume. So then these magnets can attract the ones that are sandwiched in between these two pieces. So again, I'm just going to use the paper right now. Right, it's going to be this one. It's going to have a back right here, but you're going to drill in a little bit so you can actually fit in a magnet. And the magnets I got, so they are from a website, what is this called? CMS Magnetics. And the one that actually, so the thin ones right here, the ones that go inside your costume, these are 2.5 inch and they're 1/16 inch thickness. Now the ones I use for the actual scabbard, they're the same size, except their thickness is 1/4 inch. I actually don't suggest using this because I think like you can get a lot of magnet interaction without having to go like to this such huge thickness. The other part is like, right, the price is it's a lot higher as you go thicker. The other thing about like it being thicker is you're just going to have to like drill this hole a little deeper, and I think you can avoid the price and the effort by just buying a little thinner magnet. Anyways, so let's start the assembly, right? We're going to be looking at how to make these 6 layers right here. So the way it works is, right, again, the design with the actual thickness and everything, I'll just have in like a little PowerPoint. So basically all you have to do is just take these pieces of paper and print them out, right? And they'll have everything right there. Okay, cool. So you have number 1, then you're going to stack this on top of it. This is number 2. And even though this one's cut out, I cut it out so I could actually like trace this onto the board. This is the second layer. You're not gonna drill all the way through. You're gonna have it's going to have a back right here. It's going to be drilled in from this side. So it goes on top right there. And this is the third piece. It's going to go on top. And then this is where you're going to do a lot of work, actually. It's not a lot of work, it's just what you have sketched out here might not be exactly what you end up doing here, because it's all going to be determined by these boards. I do have a picture where I show that you're gonna have like this little pocket, and you're gonna have another little pocket here, and they're going to intersect. They're gonna intersect right here. And so what I did is for this one, let's see, let me just double check. So the one on the left is actually sitting higher than the one on the right. So what I did is like I cut off this first layer on the left one, and I cut off the top layer on the right one at the place where they intersect. So basically what I'm saying is like this spot right here, I cut off this much, this little thing on one of them, and cut off that on the other one. So that way when they interlock, you're saving 2 layers where, you know, you're not stacking on top of each other, you're kind of like dropping them in. And that's going to save you a lot of like height because, you know, you're just taking off basically almost like one of these whole layers, which is great. This is already plenty big. All right, and then what's also gonna happen is you're going to basically like cut this out, cut that out, cut this out, and cut that out. And those are gonna show up, but you're also going to cut this one out and you're gonna, right, you don't see it here. This is where the scabbard is. But because this one's sitting up higher than the other one, see that piece is actually fitting right there. Over here, right, that spot is taken up by the scabbard, but this piece comes out on top of the scabbard versus right here, it's the scabbard. So that's all I'm saying is like, right, when you get this point, you're gonna basically cut this up and you're gonna put it where it needs to go based on how you've done the whole thing. And then this is going to just come out at the end to cover it. I'm not the best painter, so this came out all right. I guess one other thing is we're gonna have a little piece here. Once you've gotten, you know, you don't want to like necessarily wait till the very end to sand it. I do like sanding. I think sanding makes it like a lot nicer. Like these just look much better when they're sanded. So as you go, you might want to sand this part, and then once you start putting on this layer, you want to sand it. You can sand this before you drop it on. I have some pictures to demonstrate that. Ah, geez, I'm not actually sure where my swords are, but those were actually made using the pieces we had from when we were installing the floor. So I just like took some of the floorboard, cut it up, and it's been a long time sanding it because that is not a lot of space to fit a sword in, but it works out really well when you do have it. Anyways, so right, this is the assembly. These are the pieces. Oh, and like I mentioned, you're going to want one piece of this to go inside your costume. Initially, I used a cardboard, like stiff cardboard, and just some duct tape to hold these 3 magnets in place. Right now, they're just ever so stuck on there that I can't get them up using one hand. I don't want to break my nails. But don't do the cardboard, because if you sweat just a tiny bit, it's going to fall apart, and then later on you're just gonna have this droopy cardboard held thing that you're trying to get into place, and it's just not gonna work. So EVA foam, I think, works best. I have never worked with it. I've not been able to find it, but I think I just recently found out you can get it at Home Depot. So a lot of like the things I'm going to try to add to my costume to make it look a lot better than it does right now is going to come from working with that. And I think that can be applied here by like making a piece. So anyways, right, you have this, it's your under costume, and you have that coming as your bottom layer. This is your second one, third. This thing with all the scabbard pieces will work, and then you drop this at the end. And this is the final product. I'm just gonna like, I guess, get some few shots so you can see whatever you may need to, right? There's the layers. Let's get it from the top. Okay. Okay, I found the swords and don't have the measurements, but I'll put that up in the PowerPoint somewhere so you guys have it. Just real quick, nothing fancy here. Again, I'm not a paint master. These feel look nicer. There's all these grooves from the wood that's hard to get rid of because it's really hard oak. Put up the dimensions for the thickness, right thickness. It's really thin actually. It's not that long, but I like that. I hate the samurai sword ones because you wouldn't put that on your back. The handle is wrapped in some tennis racket handle tape, and here we have the sheath. It's nothing too fancy. Oh, right. So in addition to just having one solid piece of wood that goes all the way down, this does have some depth. Right, so you see that that's not coming just from the tape. What it is actually used, right, we're going back to the stuff that we used for the sheath. So the handle has some of these pieces that are basically cut to match this dimension exactly, and then I sanded it, and as I sanded it, I gave it some groove. This, whatever this is made of, It's very, you know, plywood, I guess, versus this is much thicker. This stuff sands so easily, so you can without like much effort at all, very easily just get that groove going, and then you just wrap it up. Getting to paint, it's probably the biggest trick. And let's see, once we put these in, oh boy, trying to do this while I'm not looking. Yep, so if you sand the blade down, and you will do this a lot before you get it perfect, but once you sand it down, like right, it just goes in really nicely. Oh, that is good. Doesn't fall off. Looks like maybe you shake it. Stays in pretty well. And I guess here's the finished product. All right, I think it looks good.